What is Freemasonry really like? Freemasonry represents one of the most mysterious and historically significant societies that continues to exist today. Freemasonry originated in medieval Europe around the 11th century, when craft guilds of masons, master builders, began to band together to protect their interests. Stonemasons had special knowledge and skills that were passed down from master to apprentice. To protect these secrets, they used special signs, passwords, and gestures to distinguish their colleagues from outsiders. Guilds also had their own charters and rules of behavior that governed relationships within the community. These guilds were called lodges, and their members observed strict rules and rituals to maintain professional solidarity. Over time, artisan stonemasons began to lose their monopoly on construction as technology advanced and the work became less specialized. By the 16th and 17th centuries, many guilds had ceased to exist, but the traditions and rituals lived on among those who retained an interest in this knowledge. Freemasons began to accept into their ranks people not associated with masonry but interested in philosophy, science, and spiritual development. Thus came speculative Masons, who shifted the emphasis from practical knowledge to moral and ethical knowledge. The first documented evidence of speculative Masonic lodges dates back to late 16th century Scotland. One of the earliest records dates from 1598 and relates to a lodge in Edinburgh. One of the most important stages in the development of Freemasonry was the founding of the First Grand Lodge of London and Westminster in 1717. This event marked the beginning of the institutionalization of the movement and the creation of a system of governance that still exists today. The four London lodges united under the leadership of Grand Master Anthony Sayer. In the 18th century, Freemasonry spread throughout Europe and America, attracting prominent figures of their time to its ranks. Benjamin Franklin, American politician, scholar and writer, was one of the founders of the United States and an active Freemason. Voltaire, French philosopher enlightener who became a symbol of freedom of thought and critical thinking. George Washington, the first President of the United States of America, also belonged to a Masonic lodge. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, German poet, playwright and thinker whose works had a profound influence on world literature. These men epitomized the spirit of the Masonic fraternity, striving for enlightenment, progress, and freedom. In North America, Freemasonry played a significant role in the formation of the new nation, and many of the founding fathers of the United States were Masons. One of the key figures in the history of Freemasonry was James Anderson, a Scottish clergyman and author of the Constitution of the Freemasons, published in 1723. This document contained a set of rules and principles governing the activities of Masonic lodges. Constitution became the basis for the further development of Freemasonry and laid down the fundamental ideas of the fraternity, such as equality of all members before the law, respect for everyone's religion and adherence to moral values. There are many myths and misconceptions about Freemasonry. The myth of the 9 Masonic signers of the U.S. Constitution came about as a result of confusion and misinterpretation of historical facts. In fact, there were 39 people involved in the process of signing the Constitution, and there were indeed several Masons among them. However, the number of signers was not limited to 9. In total, there were about 13 people who were Masons. Many legends and myths, which are closely connected with Masonic traditions, are surrounded by the story of Hiram, the chief architect of King Solomon's temple. According to legend, Hiram was an extraordinarily talented master builder whom King Solomon invited to create a magnificent temple in Jerusalem. But perhaps the most famous part of the story is Hiram's tragic death, which has become an important part of Masonic symbolism. Hiram Abiff, as he is often called, was a skillful architect and a master of his craft. According to legend, he was born in Tyre, a city known for its craftsmen and artisans. King Solomon, recognizing his talents, asked him to lead the construction of the first temple in Jerusalem. Hiram agreed and soon traveled to Jerusalem, taking with him the best craftsmen and laborers. The construction of the temple was a huge project, requiring an enormous amount of materials and labor. Hiram designed the building plan, organized the work, and trained many craftsmen in his skills. His contribution to the project was so great that he earned the title Chief Architect. According to Masonic legends, Hiram possessed unique knowledge and skills that made him a consummate craftsman. One of this knowledge was the so-called Master's Secret Password. This password was considered the key to the highest level of craftsmanship and allowed the owner to manage other workers and control the entire construction process. However, despite his high status, Hiram kept this secret to himself, believing that it should remain inaccessible to most people. Only a select few could learn the password by passing certain tests and proving their dedication. However, there were those among the temple's employees who were jealous of its success and wanted access to the secrets of the craftsmanship. 3 wicked men decided to wrest the secret password from Hiram by force. They devised a plan to catch Hiram off guard and force him to tell them the password. One evening while Hiram was in the temple, the 3 men approached him and demanded that he reveal the secret. Hiram refused, saying that the password could only be given to the worthy and after passing certain tests. Enraged, the intruders attacked him. The first blow came on his head. It was an attempt to break Hiram's will. However, he remained firm in his decision and continued to remain silent. Then the second attacker struck him on the chest, trying to make him speak. But that didn't help either. Finally, the third villain struck Hiram's stomach, giving him one last blow. Hiram, badly wounded, fell to the ground and succumbed to his breath without ever revealing the secret. His body was found the next morning, and news of his death quickly spread throughout the construction site. The workers were shocked, and King Solomon ordered an investigation and punishment. The 3 guilty men tried to escape, but they were caught and brought before the king. After confessing their guilt, they were executed and their bodies were buried in different places so that no one would be able to find their remains. This story has deep symbolism in Freemasonry. Although modern Freemasons rarely openly declare their membership in the fraternity, there are some famous personalities who have confirmed their connection to Freemasonry either through public statements or through research by biographers and journalists. Winston Churchill, the British Prime Minister during World War II, was a member of Studholme Lodge No. 1591, a Masonic lodge. His initiation took place in 1901 and he remained an active Freemason throughout his life. Henry Ford, the founder of the Ford Motor Company, was also a Mason. He joined the Palestine Masonic Lodge No. 357 in Detroit, Michigan in 1894. Douglas MacArthur, the American general known for his service in World War II and the Korean War, was a Mason. He joined Manila Lodge No. 1 in the Philippines in 1936. Oliver North, the U.S. Marine colonel who became famous for his involvement in the Iran-Contra scandal, was also a Freemason. He was a member of a lodge in the state of Virginia. Harold Pinter, British playwright and winner of the Nobel Prize for Literature, was known for his involvement in Freemasonry. He was a member of a lodge in London. Bobby Charlton, famous English soccer player and 1966 world champion, was also a Freemason. He was a member of a lodge in Manchester. Shimon Peres, Israeli statesman and 9th President of Israel, was a Freemason. He participated in the activities of the Masonic Lodge in Israel. Enrique Iglesias, popular Spanish singer and composer, confirmed his membership in a Masonic lodge in an interview. These examples show that Freemasonry continues to attract people from various walks of life, including politics, the military, the arts, and sports. Although modern culture tends to view Freemasonry as something mysterious and closed, many famous individuals find it a source of inspiration and support. Some myths and speculations are linked to ancient mysteries, others to modern conspiracy theories. One of the most common myths is that Freemasons make up a secret society that controls the world's governments, finances, and media. They are believed to manipulate events on a global scale to achieve their goals. However, Freemasonry is actually a philosophical and moral movement whose goal is personal and social betterment, not power grabbing. Some claim that Freemasons practice occult rituals and worship Satan. This myth is based on a misunderstanding of the symbolism and rituals of Freemasonry. In fact, Freemasonry is based on Christian and humanistic principles, and its goal is the spiritual and moral development of man. There is a belief that Freemasons possess ancient knowledge that they keep secret from the rest of the world. This knowledge allegedly includes the secrets of pyramid building, the codes of the Holy Scriptures, and methods of achieving immortality. However, most researchers agree that Masonic rituals and symbols have symbolic meaning and do not contain real ancient knowledge. Some conspiracy theories claim that Freemasons are behind all major catastrophes and disasters in history. From the fall of the Roman Empire to the September 11 terrorist attacks, all are attributed to the actions of the Freemasons. Of course, this is an absurd claim that has no basis in reality. There is a perception that Freemasonry is hostile to religion and seeks to destroy traditional religious institutions. In reality, however, Freemasonry respects all monotheistic religions and encourages its members to adhere to their religious beliefs. Masonic rituals and teachings are aimed at spiritual and moral development, not the destruction of faith. The New World Order myth claims that Freemasons seek to create a one-world power that will control all aspects of human life. They supposedly want to destroy national boundaries and establish a totalitarian regime. However, this is completely contrary to the basic principles of Freemasonry, which call for freedom, equality, and fraternity. Some people believe that Freemasons control financial markets and banks to enrich themselves at the expense of ordinary people. However, in reality, Freemasonry does not engage in financial transactions and does not aim to enrich itself. The main goal of Freemasonry is personal and social development, not the accumulation of wealth. Freemasonry is surrounded by many myths and speculations that often have nothing to do with reality. Most of these myths are based on a misunderstanding of the nature of Freemasonry and its goals.